Greetings and welcome to the channel. Today I'm in a village called Chedworth, which is in Gloucestershire. Anyone in the UK may recognise it to do with the Roman villa that's in Chedworth. It's well known, and this is a church actually in Chedworth village, which we're going to see now. Should be open, I think. It's meant to be a good one. Let's find out. On a path that goes nowhere. Feels like that with life sometimes. They put the path over the grave, which seems bizarre, doesn't it? So 3 people buried there, never realised that when they had their last moments on earth, that someone would eventually pave over them. Such is the fortune of life and death, it seems. It's a beautiful day, really hot, very difficult to get a decent picture of anything facing towards the sun, but we'll do our best. This is quite interesting, like a bird bath really. I was at a church about an hour ago, and they had this wonderful font, wonderful Norman font, that had been used outside in some obscure way, not as purpose it was put on earth for. If fonts were put on earth for anything, I'm thinking they're human-like really, I suppose. Well, they had human figures on them, apostles I think. But anyhow, I digress. We're not there now, we're at Chedworth. And apparently there is a gargoyle on the roof somewhere of this church where it's actually vomiting on people. So we'll see if we can find it. I'm not sure which one it is. Whether my camera will be good enough to get close enough, we shall find out as well. Before we go in the church, we just look back on the way we've come, and you can see the beautiful Cotswold stone behind us. Right, now to find the vomiting gargoyle. Got to be here somewhere. But no doubt we'll see other things before we see that itself. Like that, for example. Well, he looks concerned, but he's not vomiting. Looks miserable. Is that him? I don't know. Mouth wide open. We'll probably have to head round. Skull here. Memento mori, I suppose. We'll head inside in a moment. Just make the most of this beautiful weather. So come on, where are you? Don't think that's him. Might be, don't know. We've already looked at that one. Head on round. Narrow door here. Almost looks like a separate building there, doesn't it? From this angle anyhow. So there don't seem to be any more gargoyles. Maybe higher up. There's someone there. I can't see as I'm looking. I can see better with my eyes than with the camera at the moment. There's something with the mouth open, but then you'd expect that, wouldn't you? And there's a drain. But where doth he vomit from? I doth not know. Beautiful here though, isn't it? A wild garden at the back here, with lovely pink flowers, pinky purple I suppose. Let's have a look over a fence. I know we go up here a bit. Get a better view from up here maybe. Of what, I'm not sure, but a view of something. More graves. And you can see the valley a bit below us, with the church high above, reminding people of their place in relation to it, maybe. Walk up a bit further as this bit's cut. Yeah, it's a little bit obscured from here by all the wildness, I suppose. More graves, standing almost like Avebury stones in a way, but not in a circle. So I think we'll head back down towards the church. As circumnavigating it seems unlikely. And before going through the porch, I'll go the other way and see how far we can get round that way. Seems like newer graves down that side. In yonder distance. Yeah, oh, conservation area. A lot of graves in there. Too bad if you want to visit someone, I suppose. The insects benefit, but I suppose relatives, though they may well be long past, would have difficulty accessing them, especially if they're doing their genealogy and want to see Uncle Bert's grave, and it's in the middle of that. As you can see, they're there, obscured by the undergrowth or overgrowth, depending on your vantage point. Right, so let's head back around the other side of the church. Again, another one of those graves, I've mentioned it in a previous video, that have the iron railings around. Perhaps it's to ensure they can't get out. Maybe they weren't sure he's dead. It's uneven ground and it's quite old. Yeah. Right, I'll head a bit further along here, then we'll turn around and see what we may. I basically wing it when I do these videos, so often the first sight you see in the video is the first sight I see. I don't really know what to expect when I get here. That's quite a nice view of it, I think. I'll scroll in a bit. Right, to the porch. Or actually, there's another way there. Does it just lead to a shed? Let's try this first. So you can tell how unplanned this is. I say, right, I'll do that, and a moment later I say, right, I won't do it. I'll do something else. Yeah. Don't think we're going to get much further along here, really. So we'll turn round and head to the porch, which I believe, from what I read in Simon Jenkins' book, is one of the oldest bits of the church. Right. So here we are. Someone's carved 1891. We'll just have a closer look at this before we go inside. There are no bosses on the roof here. I imagine all the bosses are ordering people about in work. Let us go in anyhow. Doesn't look a very old latch, does it? Interesting font. And the quiet descends. It's lovely. Quite a simple patterned font. Love the light on the floor there, on the windows. Lots of corbels to photograph, supporting the roof above, and plenty of light streaming in through these pretty clear windows, I think. Head towards the bell tower now, actually. I doubt we'll be able to get in. Junior bell ringers, change ringers, whatever that means. The peal of 6 bells was rehung and quarter-turned in September 1910 by Messrs. Bond of Burford at the cost of the 3rd Earl of Eldon. This is about a peal of Bob Minor, 5,040 changes, whatever that means. 7 different 7205. It looks like that's padlocked. I doubt we'll be able to get in. Perhaps only the spiders can get in at this time. Well, this is a view from here anyhow, obviously. The church stands on a grassy hillside at the head of the valley in which lies the terraced village of Chedworth. Dating back to about 1100, the church contains many Norman features, though it was considerably rebuilt about the middle of the 15th century and again much restored in 1883. It consists of south porch, nave, north aisle, chancel and western tower. In the south porch, which dates from about 1300, the ancient inner archway is worthy of notice. Above the door, each spandrel contains a shield. The left one shows the cross of St. Andrew, and above the doorway is an empty niche, which may have contained the saint's image. A recent addition to the porch is the lantern, especially commissioned by the Women's Institute to mark the millennium. The nave has 3 Norman arches. The third arch near the chancel shows some sign of decorative work. A very fine Norman arch opens into the tower. On entering the nave, an interesting Norman tube font, ornamented in relief, will be noticed. Supporting the roof of the nave are some fine corbels and carved heads. The head of the northeastern corner is that of St. Andrew. The others on the south side probably represent members of the Warwick family, lords of the manor for more than 400 years. The typical wine glass pulpit, the upper part of which is carved out of one block of stone, is a good example of 15th century perpendicular work. Behind it is a doorway which led to the rood loft staircase. A small piscina, probably of the 14th century, is in the wall near the doorway. A new stone lectern, echo of the design of the pulpit, was carved and donated for the millennium by Peter Juggs, a local stonemason and resident of the village. The chancel was rebuilt in the 13th century. The chancel arch is in the early English style, as is the window on the north side. The two-light decorated window on the south side contains some 15th century stained glass. The inscription Andreas in the glass on the south side indicates the original dedication of the church to St Andrew. The piscina on the right side of the altar belongs to the 13th century, early English period. The east window above the altar was constructed in the 15th century in the Perpendicular style. The North aisle and vestry were added in 1883. In a glass case lies a copy of the Breeches Bible, made by English exiles in Geneva in the reign of Mary Tudor. The War Memorial is a noticeable feature of this aisle, as well as the Madonna by Helen Fraser Rock. This was shown at the Royal Academy in 1911. Outside, the three lower stages of the West Tower are Norman. The fourth is early English, whilst the battlements and gargoyles belong to the 15th century. In the early 13th century, the tower was not considered tall enough, so another stage had to be added. The south wall of the church was entirely rebuilt in the 15th century. The projecting turret containing the staircase leading to the rood loft is conspicuous. This was made by the local stonemason then. It's actually 3 o'clock. I missed the first bell. The swirl octave coupler was added in December 1947 in memory of Elizabeth L. Cook, for 38 years organist in this church. Wow. It's nice. Little fish type cushion to rest on. They must hold concerts, got a grand piano. So I've had a good little play with the piano. Enjoyed that. And I'm trying to get in the habit of signing the book before I leave the churches nowadays. So that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.